Hi everybody, welcome to another Low on Health Rambling where I kind of go over what I've been doing the last past week or so. Today is October 3rd, 2010, it's about 8:30 at night. Not really much to say, just another good week gone by. Once again, these are kind of just my little kind of blog kind of diary type things, just in case people who know me, basically if I don't get a hold of them or don't talk to them that often, they can still kind of maybe keep in touch of what I've been doing or what I've been watching or playing recently. That way they can be informed themselves and maybe think, hey, that might be something they want to do. That's basically what these are for. It's basically for people I don't communicate with a lot, and basically people that like to hear me say basically a lot. I realize I do use that word a lot. In one of the old podcasts I was listening to recently, I noticed that I used basically a lot, and I should probably stop doing that. Anywho, work is work as normal, so I'm happy to know I basically got about 4 months down and, 29 and a half more years to go until I can theoretically retire from my job, which I feel confident in that I'll be able to retire from this type of profession, which is something I don't think a lot of us can say. Do want to say recently the weather in Florida, south kind of Florida, Midwest, South Florida, has been really nice. It's been kind of a weekend where you can actually open up the doors, let the cool breeze come through the house and whatnot. It's very nice kind of air at the house. And multiple people on their Facebooks have mentioned them going outside or opening up their houses too. And it's just really nice. It's been a nice kind of little weekend of just relaxing. But let me just go ahead and move on to what I've been doing recently. We got a movie I watched recently, which is the Book of Eli. This is, of course, the Denzel Washington kind of post-apocalyptic movie, in which case I kind of already knew what I was expecting going into this movie. Let me just fast forward this to and I actually was looking forward to seeing it, and then I wasn't going to see it, and then just out of sheer boredom I watched it. In which case, I was actually pleasantly surprised with the film. I was going to it expecting, just a basic movie, and it was actually better than that. The action's really good. It has a decent plot. It is a really good setting. And overall, just really enjoyed the film. I was pleasantly surprised with it and recommend it to people. I mean, if you thought maybe you were going to see it or not going to see it, you should be coming out soon. Definitely give Book of Eli a watch. It's definitely got the action. Definitely has kind of the post-apocalyptic Fallout type thing. I like me personally, I like more of a dystopian kind of futuristic vibe. But the Wasteland's always a good kind of premise to go with. Now, after I watched this movie, of course, this got me thinking of other, kind of post-apocalyptic movies, in which case the Mad Max Trilogy, of course, popped up first in my head. So I decided to actually watch the whole Mad Max Trilogy, which is something I guess I've never done before. I've seen this, the Road Warrior before in bits and pieces, and Beyond the Thunderdome in bits and pieces, but I've never watched the full trilogy in succession, in which case I did that this weekend. Watched the first Mad Max movie, in which case, really bad movie. I didn't enjoy the first one whatsoever. The pacing is just horribly off. You don't really get the vibe it's post-apocalyptic. And I almost got the vibe it was more of a timepiece. Like, that could easily, to me, be what Australia looked like in 1970, 1980. Kind of like Lethal Weapon was basically contemporary and what, the 1980s and 90s was. So the first Mad Max, I didn't know what they were going with. The second one, Road Warrior, kind of made more sense. Kind of gave you the idea this is post-apocalyptic. Gas is low. They're fighting over a fuel station. Okay, cool. The third one, the third Mad Max movie, Beyond the Thunderdome, I thought was good, but man, it was horrible in my opinion. Mainly because it goes the whole cutesy wootsy kitty vibe, kind of Ewok-ish, and I just didn't enjoy that whatsoever. And that's mainly because I hate kids in general, just hate that type of mentality. But I guess I don't know if people always look back on these movies as they were good, or as maybe they look back on them because they were corny and stupid, so that's why people remembered them. But I, for some reason, thought people liked these movies because they were good, in which case, for me, wasn't really that good watching them, but I was happy I did because it just reminded me about these movies, and I definitely want to recommend Book of Eli, of course, is a way better movie than these. But, of course, if I had to pick in between the three, the second one's always going to be probably my favorite. The first one, the pacing was just horrible. It was hard following it. Anywho, moving on here. I do want to mention, anime-wise, we got a new trailer for the new Berserk anime. This is, I guess, going to be an OAV, in which case it's been kind of rumored on the internet for a while now, but we got two real kind of trailers up for the new Berserk OAV, and Berserk, of course, is one of my favorite animes of all time. The Anime Works rendition of it is just really, really good. I'm just going to keep replaying this over and over again, because you gotta love Griffith, and they're just awesome characters. I have the anime soundtrack on my computer. It's actually in my sleep file, too. It's a song, a couple Berserk songs I just really, really enjoyed. The music's been great. And of course, Berserk, the manga, is a long-running manga, and I hate to say it, I haven't read it. I know it's very long. It's super mega long, and it's still ongoing. In which case, I'm thinking now because of this, I might actually have to read the manga. In which case, maybe that's something I'll do in the off season because I know it's just gonna eat up a bunch of time. But Berserk OAV, huzzah for all of our Berserk fans. Game wise, this week I do want to mention that Nintendo had their little conference deal. In which case, we finally got a release date and price points for the 3DS, in which case the 3DS is coming out February 26, 2010 in Japan. We still have in other territories March 2010 release. So right now I think they're saying it's 25,000 yen, which adjusting it, it's about 250 to 300 US, and we don't know if that's going to be what it's going to cost us, but so we know it's definitely going to be next year. It's not going to be this year. So I'm kind of happy about that, so I don't have to worry about buying one or importing one because they're going to be that close together with the worldwide releases and whatnot. And videos and whatnot have come up basically showing its functionality, in which this kind of augmented reality type stuff, this is what I'm really excited for with the 3DS, is basically little stuff like this where you be able to actually perceive your reality through the 3D screen and have stuff happen around you. That I am looking forward to. They also show some, of its online connectivity stuff where it's always on and talking with stuff. But really looking forward to the 3DS, and I'm looking forward to it next year, and hopefully financially wise, I should definitely be able to pull it off next year. But yay, 3DS news and whatnot. There's other, Nintendo news, but I don't have a Wii or a DS, so I don't care. Moving on here. Let's talking about gaming. I want to just mention briefly the current gaming season. In which case, with GameFly, which is of course what I'm using, I currently do have Dead Rising 2. I did beat it. Of course, I'll go into a more in-depth review about it on one of my other videos, but didn't really enjoy it that much. The first one is better, much like other sequels of the year, like BioShock and Mass Effect. The first, and kind of Just Cause 2, thinking about it, where the first ones were better than the second one, and that's just maybe me being me. The co-op for Dead Rising 2 I didn't enjoy that much. It's kind of lackluster and very restrictive, if I had to say anything about it. I tried doing it with a friend of mine, and it's just too restrictive, too cumbersome. But I'll discuss Dead Rising later on. Of course, coming out this week is going to be Castlevania, and then after that we have Fallout, Rockman, Call of Duty, Splatterhouse, and Tron, and recently Gears of War 3 was basically going to come out around March of next year, but that's been pushed back to, I think, the holiday season. That was kind of the big snafu. And there's also kind of my B-list games, which are going to be Front Mission, Enslaved, Vanquish. I actually played the demo recently and was kind of impressed with it. Ruse. There's a bunch of kind of B-list games I'm looking for to add in my queue and playing, but that's kind of how my upcoming gaming schedule is looking, and other than that, that's really about it. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching these, and I will catch you next time. Better.